Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the DegenCast. I'm joined again by Asskick-Lite and I believe his brother, Ice. Ace, however you say it.
Yeah, I'm Ace. Hello,
Ace is how you
everybody.
say it.
Yep,
Wow.
I'm Ace. It's a pleasure being here, I guess. I am indeed the brother of Asskick-Lite. Just came here to check it out, talk about
hmm
some cool stuff with my friends here. Yeah. Um, I guess I should mention, just for anyone that's interested, that I am an aspiring animator. I'm currently in a job. And also, I'm not a native speaker of the English language. So, in case I mess up a little bit, well, yeah, that's much why.
Well, there's different ways of pronouncing English, right? Even if like the way I pronounce it, stuff is just like the American English, right? And then there's the European English, right? So
I mean,
there's
yeah,
differences. Or as some people here in the US like to call it, proper English. Shut the fuck up, okay? For one, right? That's ridiculous. Anyway, ass kick, you gonna say anything or no? No? Just
incredible.
he's amazing, guys, ain't he? Just so entertaining. Uh,
That's great.
some.
My mic wasn't working.
Oh, okay. Well, you should have got that worked out before we started.
It was working before. I don't understand what the hell happened.
It's Discord. That's what happened.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, your country has like 15 different accents
Yeah.
of one language.
Oh, more than 15, but yeah, sure. If you want to
I was giving a rough estimate. I have no clue.
rough estimate, your rough estimate is way off.
I'm not denying that.
You shouldn't because you'd be inaccurate to deny that. Anywho,
What are we talking about today, Egg?
actually, speaking of something that Asskick-Lite shared with me himself, he's becoming a voice actor. You said you were able to get a role in something, correct?
Yes, actually, it's a little bit of a personal project of something I found on the internet, nothing too major. It's not really anything big for now, but that's perfectly fine. You got to start somewhere. But thankfully, it's a type of role that I do enjoy. I personally do have an enjoyment for voicing the antagonists more than the protagonists.
The antagonists are always better though. There's so much
Yeah,
more to an antagonist.
it's just more fun too, because here, like, this is a thing that one time I was playing like fucking Would You Rather with a bunch of my friends, and there was a question that was like, oh, would you rather be a superhero or a supervillain? And I was the odd man out saying a supervillain, and I stood my fucking ground that being a supervillain is infinitely more fucking fun. It's not a matter of being evil. It's a matter of simply you have so much you have so many people to satisfy as a superhero, whereas if you're a supervillain, you don't give a shit. You're doing your own shit.
Two things I want to say on that. For one, it makes me think of Garu, Hero Hunter from One Punch Man.
Yeah.
The monsters are always better in his opinion. But also,
I
um,
mean, the thing in the topic of One Punch Man, if I can elaborate a bit on that, a lot of the antagonist characters are so fucking incredibly powerful, but Saitama just fucking clowns on anyone.
it's not that he clowns on him, right? If you actually do a little bit of research, you'll realize that the story of One Punch Man, it is actually kind of like a sad story, right? Because Saitama is at a point where he is too powerful. Even he in the show or in the
Yeah,
manga and the
it's
show, he acknowledges that he's like, I'm too powerful.
let's not talk about manga because that's spoilers.
What do you mean by
But yeah,
spoiler?
no, let's not talk about manga because that would
Have
spoil like
you
the
not
anime.
read the manga?
I have read the manga. I'm saying there's a lot of people that just watch the anime.
Yeah, the manga is just more, I feel, detailed and in depth. It's better.
Watched like I watched like 5 episodes and I
Mm,
kind of got bored.
But even
I
so,
mean,
like in season 2 of the anime, like he says when he's talking to King when Garu comes up and tries to like attack
he,
King, he's talking to King about how he's too powerful. Like
uh,
if you
I
watch
mean,
the anime, that's way
yeah,
in the beginning.
I mean, like in the first few episodes when he faces off that giant, that literal giant with the scientist brother, he says excessive strength is a curse,
Yeah,
and is just a complete reflection of how he feels about his own power. Like, yeah, sure, he is way too powerful, and it actually brings him down. But you
see,
can't deny that he
if you
clowns on
wanna,
everyone he comes
yeah,
across.
but if you wanna talk about spoilers, right? Like where we're at the
I
well,
don't.
hold on, no,
I really don't.
where we're at in the manga now with One Punch Man demonstrates, the necessity for that power as well.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like it. There are necessary things to have that kind of power. Otherwise,
Well,
it's the
obviously, yeah,
end
I'm
of
not
everything.
denying that.
But at the same time, it's depressing because he physically he cannot grow. He can only grow mentally and emotionally now. Like if you think about like stats for a character, right? Like
Yeah, he's
he
reached max level.
max stats for physical attributes. Now he just has to increase like his mental and emotional. Like he
Well,
could
not
take
has to, more like
that's all he
is
has.
that's yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to say on it, Ace?
Uh, I mean, not really. As I said, I have only watched only 5 episodes of
Oh
One
wow.
Punch Man.
Then you
Kind of got.
have you
I
read the
might say I
manga?
kind of got bored of. No, I'm not a manga reader. To be honest, I don't even like
Um,
anime,
You should
and
check out
I
the
don't like
manga, man. You should. It's really good.
the only. I'm gonna be honest. The only manga I've ever checked out like 100% was Chainsaw Man. That's only because I got. It
roped
is
into it.
cringe, but I got roped into it by a
See, there's one
crap ton
anime
of
that I
friends.
watched that I wish I had gotten into the manga first, and I didn't, and that's Bleach, right? Because now they have the Thousand Year Blood War is out, and every
Yep.
Monday on Hulu, for example, there's new episodes. But like,
Hmm.
unfortunately, like
We're not
I
sponsored by
never,
Hulu.
we're not. I never read the manga for Bleach in its entirety, including Thousand Year Blood War. So like, if I were to go back and read through it all, I'm pretty sure I'd enjoy it. I that was one of the animes that like I never read the manga for.
Mm.
And one thing I'm surprised by, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but the live action Full Metal Alchemist, like they have completed the story.
Hmm.
Yeah, like in
Interesting.
live action, and it's not as bad as you think. They kind of like fuck over Scar's character in the live action, just because like it feels
I mean,
rushed compared to like the
yeah,
anime and the manga, but
yeah.
they did
The
have to
th-
break it up into like four movies as well, so
yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
too
the thing
bad.
is, more often than not, at least for now, live action anime isn't really good.
It's
They've
surprisingly okay with Full Metal Alchemist.
well, maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Like a lot of movie industries have begun like getting closer to perfecting game movie adaptations, which is pretty fucking good.
Unless
You
you
know,
count
I
like the 90s or
yeah, I'm
80s
saying
Super
recently
Mario
they've
Bros.
begun doing that. Recently they've begun doing
Yeah,
that. Like Detective Pikachu, very good. Sonic 1 and 2,
but
very good.
but it helps to
Mario
have the
movie,
CGI
or
that they
wait,
have,
no,
right?
that's
Like
CGI.
Hollywood has the CGI to do stuff like that, right? Like
Well, yeah,
whereas
but
the Full Metal Alchemist live action, it's not made in Hollywood.
well, yeah, but still, the point is, it didn't always used to be like this,
Yeah,
and I can just say for one that I'm glad it's starting to, get better because now I can actually sit there and actually be hopeful when they announce they're making a movie about a game.
Bro, you're telling me you weren't happy when you saw the Dragon Ball live action
You
movie
shut
on
the fuck
theaters?
up.
stop talking. Stop talking right now. That is so trash. I'm sorry, it is trash. I'm
I don't know
saying
what
that.
you're talking about, bro. Like
Talking
it
about
was go.
trash is what we're talking about.
That guy was Goku, I swear.
At the same
Yeah.
time, though, when it comes to like when they're making live actions of like animes and whatnot, the ones I like a lot are the ones that are like poorly made. Like they do the best that they can, but they just can't do it right, and it's just
Yeah.
kind of funny.
I mean, I
It
can't really
borders on
think of.
terrible and funny,
Yeah.
and so I
Yeah.
enjoy it because of the funniness of it. Like, because
It's
it's like
it's
they want
terribly
to, but
funny.
they're so bad.
It's terribly funny.
It's like when you're watching One Piece, right? Like the animation is so bad in the beginning, you have to laugh at it.
Well, it's not necessarily that it was bad, it's just
Uh,
dated. That's the best they
It's
could do at the
bad.
time.
It's bad. Because if you think about the other like animations that came out around the same time, they were better.
What did come
I'm
around
trying
at
to
the same
think.
time?
Cause like when did the first episode of that anime come out? Do you know off
Which
the top of
one?
your of One Punch? No, One
Oh,
Piece. One
of
Piece.
One Piece.
Yeah.
One Piece. I think it was around. If I had to guess, it's probably 1990s, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know
They had, for
when.
example, they had Yu-Gi-Oh at that time. They had Pokemon
Uh,
at
Yu-
that time.
Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon were pretty similar in level,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like
but
if you compare those to the beginning of One Piece, like they're better in animation style.
okay, no, I'm not willing to
So I
agree
did
to
a
that
little bit
because
of a.
it's a bit different to compare One Piece to those types of animes because One Piece is a more action-based show and series, whereas Pokemon, like, sure, there's a bit of action, but it's not portrayed in the same way. Even in today's day and age,
Well, no,
you
I
see
get that. I'm
Pokemon
saying
fights,
if you
it's not the
compare
same
the
shit.
animation style, though, right? Like if you look at the
Yeah,
animation style of like the first episode of One Piece, I don't know if you've gone back and watched that first episode.
I have.
The
I have.
animation is so bad.
I don't know. I
If
honestly
you
put it
compare it to the
above
animation of
Yu-Gi-Oh
it
and Pokemon.
now, if you compare it to the animation of One Piece now, it
Okay,
is so
we're
bad.
not we are not comparing it to
Think about
today's fucking
think.
animation. That shit's
Hold
like
up, hold up.
Broly movie levels of
Well,
animation.
it's still
On the
Jesus
hand
topic
Christ.
of
drawn, right? It's still
I'm
hand
not
drawn.
denying. Yeah, no, it is hand drawn, but that is the most phenomenal fucking thing. It's arguably one of the best animation studios of
Yeah, I'm
today's
just
day and
saying, like
age.
in the
You
beginning, like
cannot
they
compare
were.
that.
Well, no, I'm saying like in the beginning they were like inexperienced. You could tell from the art style,
Well, well,
and they developed a better art style as the show went on. Like you can see that, like by actively
mm,
going back and watching it. I'm not saying like it's bad and like it's absolute terrible dog shit. No, I'm just like compared to other animes at the time, like it the art style is that of someone inexperienced, and it you can tell. And I'm pretty sure the artist for those would admit that they were probably inexperienced at the time.
well, yeah, they might have been an experience. I personally just don't think it's fair to consider One Piece worse than, say, Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. At least in my
The art
honest
style
opinion.
itself, yes. The storyline, no. It's a far better storyline. One Piece
Well,
is.
yeah,
topic of
obviously, because it
I mean,
actually
because
has some coherency.
at least in One Piece, there's no blatant fucking what is it? Disregard for women like in Pokemon.
sorry, wait, what? I'm sorry,
You
what'd you
know,
say?
which is I,
James is misogynistic, and so is Brock.
Okay, that's
or
fair
at least they,
enough.
well, Brock more so, at least in the beginning. James
No,
gets better, or gets different, we'll say.
it's still misogyny.
I mean, you can say that, but the man has dressed as a woman.
Yeah, but at the same time, doesn't make it okay to be misogynistic, right?
I mean, it makes it
Say
less
something real quick.
misogynistic, in my honest
I
opinion.
mean, it
On the
does.
topic of old animes, One Piece, or to say the least, Dragon Ball Z was released in, or the first episode was released in 1989.
Yeah, but
Okay.
So
Dragon Ball has
to
a
add
better
in
art style at the beginning as well.
to add in on the inexperienced like side, I do agree that it could just be them like not being experienced enough because
Hmm.
look at Dragon Ball Z. That thing looks amazing,
In the
especially
beginning,
for
it
its
still looked
time.
amazing. Yeah.
It did look pretty good, yeah, I'm willing to admit. But then
Yeah,
again,
you may
Toriyama
keep
had
going
also
about
had like experience before Z. You know, they had the previous saga before Z
Yeah, but at the
that
same
they'd been
time,
working on it.
Can we agree that the art style of Studio Ghibli is just superb? right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
I can totally
the
agree.
first
What about
the
you,
first
Ace?
the first movie, and hear me out here. The first movie was released also around that year, like 1999.
Don't dodge the question,
Uh,
you piece of
where
shit.
no, it
Dodge
wasn't.
the question.
First movie. Hold on.
You're
First
dodging the
movie was
question.
released in 1986. And as for my opinions on Ghibli and its animation, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's also as well kind of dated. Now, hear me out.
What do you
I
mean
am
dated?
a I am a connoisseur of the Open Toons animation software.
You know, shut the
I
fuck up. You
know
you want to go to art school? Shut up.
I do want to
You're
go to
then gonna
art
get
school.
denied to go to art school, and then you're gonna
Don't
genocide a whole
don't
race of
make
people.
that joke. You already, you fucker.
It's a DegenCast. What are you talking
would
about? Oh,
I would
degenerate things.
never I would never do such a thing
Let you get denied
unless
art school. Just get denied to go to art school, right?
I
You
Uh,
would
will.
never
You
get
will.
denied. I am simply too good
Okay.
anyway. Uh but yeah, no. I it is nice. The Ghibli movies are nice. But there are so many things in like these years that are just better.
name one.
N-
Yeah.
Castlevania season 3.
Okay. Shut the fuck up.
You
Castlevania is on
shut
a
the
whole
fuck up.
different level.
Castlevania
How
was
is it on a
made
whole different
like
level?
last or is still on works as we speak.
Well,
You're
if you
trying to
think,
Yeah,
compare
hold
Ghibli
so
movies from
you're
well,
like
hold on.
30
yeah,
Then
years ago.
I'm gonna
and you're
defend it.
telling me that they can equal. You're telling me that Ghibli movies are still good till this year?
Yes.
Yes.
How
Yes.
Let me
compared to
Even
the
better
other
than a
things?
lot of
hold on,
modern shit.
Asskick.
What?
Let me say Asskick. So the reason I say that Castlevania and Studio Ghibli are on completely different levels from each other, and you can't compare them. It's not that one's better than the other. They're just like different art styles as
That
well.
too.
But
That's
the thing is,
another thing entirely.
if you think about like if you look at Castlevania's art style, it is a more line-heavy art style to give detail and depth, whereas Studio Ghibli is more of a roundedness kind of art style, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you look at Ghibli stuff and when shit is animated, like
It's
let's take
more meant
Spirited
for
Away.
children. Like Studio Ghibli's like animation is more
That
meant for
too,
children,
yeah. That
I
too,
feel.
yeah. But like, let's take for example, I don't know, Spirited Away. When
Amazing
you look
movie.
at the hair, yeah. When you look at the hairs of like the dragon or the
Oh,
witch.
I
You
got a
look at
topic
how
for
they
the plot.
flow, and it looks like liquid. It is eye candy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I said
I'm
they're
not even
two
gonna.
different like you can't compare those two.
I'm not even gonna get into the topic of the plots of the movies.
The plots,
Amazing.
the plots are fine. The plots are fine. I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
They're fine. They're fine, but if you have literally no context, you have no clue what's
Well,
going
yeah,
on.
You
but
don't
it's not like you're
need
jumping into
to.
a Studio Ghibli movie in the middle of it, right? Like you're watching it from the beginning so you have the context.
And I would,
You are a
from
psychopath if you
experience,
watch a movie from the middle of it.
no, I would never do that. I would never do that voluntarily. But I'm just saying, I have watched a Ghibli movie once in the middle. I think it was
What
like
movie?
Grave of the Fireflies.
Okay, that's a
I
weird
watched that
movie.
like,
I'll give that to you. That's just a weird movie.
yeah, yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? This is Ghibli, right? What the fuck am I watching?
But yeah, you
But yeah,
like
no.
looking
No,
at the
that's
art
not a
styles, they
fair thing
can't
to
be
say.
compared because they are different. Like
Yeah, but you can't
Castlevania is
really
an art style
compare.
meant for like adults, right? Like it doesn't like fit like if a
Well,
child were to
I
try
don't
and watch it, they would not be entertained by the art style.
I don't know
That's
about that
fair,
because
but like,
like
hear me
to a
out here.
degree, yeah.
What
Continue.
anime or any animation has a similar art style of Ghibli? That's the thing with Ghibli. It's unique in
Most
its art
shonen,
style. Most
Eh,
like
not
Pokemon, for
necessarily.
example, has a
not really.
similar art style.
Not
Kind
as
of.
much.
It's
I like to think
closer. It's
just
one of the closer
just
ones.
it is closer, don't get me wrong, but like, dude, on the topic of Pokemon, dude, the fucking Darkrai movie, but I'm gonna get on that later. The thing is, when you even look at like my neighbor Totoro, you see that
Oh,
the colors are like a little bit saturated. They're like calm, soothing. With Pokemon, you see the anime, and the colors aren't as saturated. They're a lot like actually like flashy,
yeah,
or at least that's how I
but they're
remember the anime.
no. You're accurate in saying that. Like I love how we just started talking about anime, not what we wanted to talk about today, other than the voice actor thing.
You
No,
know
Anyway,
what? This is a lot. This is a lot better. I'm willing to agree to continue with this.
yeah,
Let's
no, that's
go.
fine. So
Yeah.
Pokemon, you're right. No, Pokemon is a lot flashier of colors. It's more meant to like
Yeah,
keep the
it's
attention
meant
of children.
it's meant to pop more.
Studio Ghibli isn't really. It's not meant to pop, but it is meant to catch your eye. Like it's not meant for children. Like it's meant for like young or like I don't want to say young children, but like kids around the age of like 9 or 10. You know, when they're the flashy colors aren't like a thing that they attach to, but they still like those vibrant colors because it's more appealing to them. But it can also be satisfying to like people our age, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I say our
Case
age, but
in
I'm like
point.
4 or 5 years older than you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
Well, yeah,
there's
no,
a difference in those art styles. I'm not saying that they're the same, but I'm saying Pokemon is probably the closest to Studio Ghibli,
yeah.
only
Yeah,
because
I
of like
suppose.
how their line work is for the art or for the animation of.
Okay, I don't know if I'm willing to say the animation. The animation feels a lot more. I want to say stiff
Okay,
for Pokemon.
I guess I'm when I'm comparing the two, I guess I'm kind of thinking of Spirited Away, the art style of Spirited Away.
Well, yeah, I
Pokemon is
can agree
similar
to
to
the
that art style.
I can agree to the art style, not so much the animation. Like the
Yeah.
animation for Pokemon,
No,
like
the
you
art
look at the
style
movements.
is far better in Studio Ghibli movies than Pokemon because
Well,
it's
yeah,
more
I'm
detailed.
just saying the animation itself. Like you look at the way the movements in Pokemon are animated, and it's a lot more
Yeah.
stiff.
When I say animation, I don't mean like
Then we
the
see the
actions.
Darkrai
I'm when
movie.
I say the animations, I mean like the artwork of it.
Hmm.
For I like I know animation can mean like it can mean like I don't mean the animated parts. I mean the animation itself, like the
Yeah, and
overall
also
art
another
style
thing
and the
with
artwork
Pokemon. Yeah. Another
is
In
thing with
my
Pokemon is
opinion,
that
Pokemon's
depending
cringe.
on which, no, no, no.
it
I was
is
gonna say
true,
that
but
depends, but
No, it's
the
cringe.
thing, I'm not gonna comment.
listen,
Anyway,
listen.
can I speak? I
Yeah,
wanted to
go
say
on.
that depending on which season of Pokemon you watch, the art style is like majorly different. Like you look at the X and Y one,
Yeah, because they
it's
have different animators.
well, yeah, obviously, but it's like obviously you're gonna have different animators,
It's
but
completely
it's
different from One Piece. Like One Piece, it's the same guys like going in and doing it, and they just got better over time.
yeah,
Pokemon is
infinitely
just like
better.
they're just like
Jesus
we don't want
Christ.
you to work for us anymore. We're gonna hire someone else.
Damn.
Because it's a
Um,
completely it's almost a completely like it's a different art style. It's similar,
mhm,
but you can see that it's different, right? Like it's
mhm,
noticeably different if you actually pay
yeah.
attention to art styles.
Hmm.
Which I do. That's why I watch anime. Is I
I,
love the
I
art
mean,
styles. I love like
I don't even
looking
think
at the
you
art
need to
style.
pay much attention. You can tell immediately that from one season to another, the art style is going to be different, or that's at least more so shown in the
Oh,
latest
you want to talk? Oh,
seasons.
I got something I want to talk about anime wise regarding Bleach, right? So I don't know how
Mhm.
far you guys have gotten into
I,
Bleach. Like, how far have you
Not
I've
gotten?
watched a
never
single
seen
episode.
I haven't touched a single bleach.
Okay, what about you, Asskick?
Nope, none.
Do you guys care if I were to say anything about it?
Sure, go ahead.
You
Okay.
want the honest answer?
If you don't want
Yeah,
me to say
go
anything,
on.
I won't.
No, 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 go on. It's
Okay,
okay.
so um, before the Thousand Year Blood War, right? Like Ichigo is
The main
The main
character.
well,
character.
no, okay, so he builds up this power and whatnot to fight Aizen, who is once one of the 13 Gote captains of the Soul Society, but then he started to holofy things and started to amass
Okay.
power and whatnot. So Ichigo had to amass a lot more power, and in order to defeat
Okay.
Aizen, he had to literally consume, like not consume, but completely use his spiritual energy to its max, to where he lost his Soul Reaper powers to be able to defeat Aizen. And even
Before
then,
you
he
keep
didn't kill
going,
him. He just incapacitated him.
I hope you don't mind the interruption, but before you keep going, can you tell me the plot of Bleach? Because I sort of understood what you were talking about, but at the same time, you've completely lost me.
I
So
mean,
that's
I
not even
think
the
the
point I want to
TLDR
talk
of what
about.
he just, I think the
Oh,
TLDR of what he just said is, big strong bad guy. He needs to get stronger, and this power is
Yeah,
fucking him over.
the only way though that like Ichigo was able to beat Aizen was to like literally use the entirety of his Soul Reaper powers to the point where upon using an ability like it got rid of all of his Soul Reaper powers. That's that point I'm trying to make. But that's not the point
If
overall
I'm
I'm
not
trying to make.
mistaken, because I've been hearing some comments about the Thousand Year Blood War, doesn't Ichigo finally unlock like this
Let me
ability
get to
called a
where I'm getting
Bankai?
to, and you'll understand. So, going in like the next part after his fight with Aizen, like I said, he doesn't even kill Aizen with that kind of power.
Yeah.
He just incapacitates him and knocks him unconscious. Because in the Soul Reapers, the Soul Society captures him and imprisons him. Like, and that's where Aizen is kept. He's just in a prison in the Soul Society. And then after Ichigo loses his powers, after about a year or so, he's approached by these people called well, they have this power called Fulbright, and it's people who their parents were attacked by a hollow and fusing those parents with like hollow spiritual pressure, which when the kids were born, they have like natural like powers, and they're called Fulbright powers. Would they teach Ichigo how to develop Fulbright so that way he can start to gain back his Soul Reaper powers? And then upon getting those new powers, those get removed. Like the person who taught him how to use them, like to get them, actually stole those powers from him to become stronger. And then the Soul Society, people from the Soul Society turned or showed up, gave him back his Soul Reaper powers, the same way he initially got them in the first place, anyway. And then he never again uses Fulbright. He just stops using it, even though he could pair
Damn.
it with his Soul Reaper powers and be twice as strong.
Damn.
Yeah. But yes, he does unlock a new Bankai. Um,
Yeah,
but
because I'm not
that's after he got his Soul Reaper powers back, right? So it developed
okay.
in a different way, but it kind of functions the same way in the start of Thousand Year Blood War. But like as it progresses, like things change drastically for Ichigo. Like his
Mm-hmm.
weapon changes, his powers alter and become different. Like it's a whole
Because
thing.
like from what I was understanding, him finally unlocking a Bankai, whatever the hell that is, it was like akin to when the Dragon Ball series saw Goku getting Ultra Instinct for the first time.
Yeah, except Goku in Super Saiyan is like infinitely stronger than Ichigo as with
Well,
Bankai.
it's if it's a different like type of fucking power scaling on the from one world to another.
Well, yeah.
That and Toriyama doesn't fucking know how to power scale his shit.
Well, if you want to talk about power scaling, like if you were to compare, for example, Ichigo with Madara, right?
Hmm.
Ichigo with his Bankai, his speed is significantly higher than Madara, so Madara couldn't keep up with a Sharingan or a Rinnegan or a Rinne
Hmm.
Sharingan or anything like that, right?
I
Like,
mean, Madara almost got clowned on by Might Guy. It's only that he could
no,
only
no, he
do so
only got
much.
a broken rib. Did not almost get clowned on. He got a broken rib. That's it.
It,
That's
it, it, it,
all
it,
my guy did with all of
okay,
his powers.
if Might Guy had actually would be able to fight more, he probably would have actually beaten him. For the time that they were fighting, Guy clowned
Now,
him.
see, if Naruto used the eight, well,
Actually,
if Naruto, no, no, if Naruto used the eight gates, he could have done severely more damage than Guy
yeah, no
because he
shit.
has such a higher amount of chakra available.
No,
He would have been able to defeat Madara with just the eight gates. He wouldn't have needed Sage of the Six Paths, right? Like he wouldn't have needed that. But
welcome to this episode of DegenCast, where we are weebs.
hey, not weebs.
You two
We're just
are.
like
I'm not.
shut the fuck
I'm
up,
not
okay?
engaging in this conversation.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
What the fuck does that mean?
are we satisfied with the anime? Do we want to move on, or do we
I
want to
mean,
stuff we want to keep talking about?
I don't know.
I
Do you
mean,
guys have anything?
standing aside from anime and getting a little bit to the Western side of animation, I just finished Owl House, and that's pretty cool.
Or what's available for now?
Finished what?
Yeah,
The Owl
finished.
House. It's
What the fuck is that?
this. It's a Disney-owned show animated by Dana Terrence, or directed by Dana Terrence and animated majorly by Spencer Wan, who
I'm
has also made most of Castlevania.
See,
Welcome to
I'll
my domain.
watch like Disney animations, but like I'm never like, when's the new Disney animation coming out, right? Like I'm never like excited for it.
I'm not like
I'll
that
watch it,
either.
but I'm not like, when
I'm
is it
just
coming?
I was just gonna say that I'm not into that either. I'm just interested in Western animation a lot more than,
Why?
animes. I don't know why. There's a I've been watching most of my life. I have been watching anime. I watched the entirety of JoJo, not part six. It's
Sorry.
fucking. I quitted the first half, and I'm not
Can
gonna
we not
bother
talk about
watching the
JoJo?
rest.
JoJo is just
Yeah,
like, I watched like
don't.
the first like what, like 10 episodes, and I felt like
First
every
season
episode,
sucks.
well, I felt like every episode could be its own pilot episode for
Yeah.
a completely different show. Like that's what it feels
Okay,
like
if
watching the beginning
And
of JoJo.
okay, the thing is, part
anyway,
one is like it's majorly agreed upon that part one is very fucking slow.
Okay.
yeah.
That's all I couldn't
No,
watch because I was like, this is just a new
if we're
pilot
talking about
episode. I'm done
how
watching the pilot episodes, so I just never picked it up
if
again.
we're done talking about how slow a fucking JoJo season can get, part three shouldn't have been that long. It
True.
could have been a whole lot faster. But anyway, aside from that, uh, I have watched anime for most of my life, but like I've started to get bored of everything new or even other stuff, just anime in general, and I've
I mean,
taken quite an interest to Western animation.
I guess it makes sense. Well,
Invincible,
no,
Castlevania.
okay, Invincible is a good show though. Like
Yeah,
Very
Invincible's
much
good,
so.
but like I think like where we split here is like, right. So I have just all this access to Western animation, as you put it. Like, but like you have more access to like Eastern animations than I do, probably.
Well, technically, we have access to both because both sides are like on the other side of the world for us.
Well, yeah, but I think it's different for me because like you may find Western animation appealing. Like I said, I'll watch it. Like there are some that are pretty good. But like I said, I'm never like, when's the new Disney coming out? Like I don't care because like I see that animation constantly because
yeah,
that's how it is out here.
yeah. One anime, however, that I am interested in, aside from Chainsaw Man that I'm currently watching,
Mm-hmm.
and I fucking love the way it looks. There was this one anime I don't actually know the name of. It was like 3D. It was about
Mm-hmm.
some blonde dude with a gun.
Oh,
I don't actually
it's the
remember.
reanimated Trigun.
Triforce. Yeah,
Trigun.
Trigun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Trigun. I looked
Trigun
at
is
that and
like this
I
old
was
ass
fucking with
fucking
it, dude.
anime that
Oh,
they're reanimating.
it's old. Ah,
Yeah, they're
okay.
reanimating Trigun.
Yeah. That's one that I'm interested in. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw like another remake of Lupin, or not a remake, well, just like an animated series that was being announced. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I don't think I'll watch it, but that's pretty cool.
So are we good with anime now? We ready to move on, or you guys have anything else you want to say about anime?
I don't know, do you?
I mean, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, moving on from anime. Just check that one off the list. That all started from talking about you becoming a voice actor and him going into animation and whatnot. Like that's hilarious that we spent a
Mm-hmm.
half hour talking about that. Just anime.
Yeah.
uh,
Why
Hey,
not?
man.
um, not really a good segue into what's next, but like like I said in the last podcast with you, Asskick, like
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stress enough like how important safety is. Like like today, or not today, but earlier in this past week, since the last podcast, at work, like there was a situation where like there were some people I was working with unloading a trailer. Like there was just a bunch of heavy boxes that just kept falling on top of them, right? And it got to the point like where it was like like just continuously happening. And so I went and I found one of the managers. I'm like, look, like you want us to report safety issues? Like you need to do something about the people that load these fucking trailers because people are shit's falling on people's heads. Like it's already happened several times just today And the manager's like, okay, yeah, I'll go. Well, I'll do something to try and do something about it. And he just fucking obviously like nothing's come of it because what's one manager gonna do about the entirety of how FedEx runs, right? Like,
Hmm.
uh, it's just
You expect too much from a massive company.
a massive company too that just doesn't give a fuck about like they'll preach about safety like when you first get hired on, but like
My
after
brother
about a week or
encouraged
so they
everyone likes
stop
to
giving
preach
a
about
shit.
safety.
It's like, dude, like safety is so important because like if you do anything unsafe, like you can risk serious injury to you and or other people. Like like there was a dude who like someone dropped a heavy fucking box on this guy's foot and like his foot was fucked up for a good portion of the day. He couldn't work because someone dropped something heavy on his fucking foot. Right? They
Mm.
should enforce like wearing like steel toe or ceramic toe
Yeah.
fucking boots, right? Like
Mm.
I have ceramic because ceramic's better because the problem with steel is if something heavy enough drops on a steel toe, that plate in the steel toe can drop down and just cut your fucking toes off easily. Whereas with ceramic, it's going to shatter inside the boot. And there's a protective layer between your foot and the boot, so that way even if that ceramic plate shatters, like it's not gonna just jab into your foot, but it'll fracture the ceramic rather than shoving a piece of fucking steel through your foot. So there's that. They bitch about how like or they preach about how like you shouldn't lift with your back, you should lift with your legs because it's like, well, a normal person lifting objects is not going to naturally lift with their fucking legs, right? Like if you're not thinking about it, like if you're not consciously thinking about it, you'll just inherently like just bend over at the waist and grab something and pick it up. Doesn't matter how heavy it is. Like you'll try and think about it, but like if you're just working and you're working quickly, like you have to, like with FedEx, like you don't think about constantly bending at the knees and not the back. It's like if they offered like back support straps, like for everybody, like that you would see like weightlifters using and whatnot to like support the lower lumbars and whatnot, like the lower back. Like if they supplied those, it's almost impossible to use your like to bend like your back while you're lifting because it just forces your back straight if those are properly on you. But this company's not gonna fucking invest in that because FedEx would rather make more money than
I
protect their
mean,
workers because they can always hire more people than
oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that goes for a lot of companies in general. The bigger they are, the more prevalent this type of issue is.
yeah.
That they just don't give two shits
Yeah,
because
because they can
they
just keep
just
hiring new people that aren't injured.
exactly because they're big. They get a lot of they get a lot of applications of people willing to even do the most basic fucking jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And as time
Here's
goes
what I
on, they
think
won't
on.
even need people for it anymore because they're just gonna start making robots that are able to do shit like that.
I mean, me personally, the reason I got
Yeah.
the job is because I love unloading trailers. It's something I prefer doing, just because
You
it's
So
you just
easy
love
work.
doing that?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's something I enjoy doing.
Okay,
I
fair enough.
enjoy.
Like it's
Enjoy.
weird to say,
Here's
but like I actually like I don't mind it at
No,
all.
I understand it. I kind of
I
understand it.
Kind of,
But
but don't.
guys, here, yeah. Guys, here's my thought on safety. If there's anything like a box that just drops down on you, just burn it.
Yeah, that's not an
What's it gonna
option. We're
do?
in a warehouse, right? Oh, speaking of today, there was
I don't know
actually
what you're
no,
talking
hold on, hold on.
about. Just burn
Not
it.
burning, but burning kind of makes me think of chemicals because chemicals are so damaging. Speaking of which, there was a today at work there was an incident where there were people unloading a trailer and they're like, it smells like cat piss in here. I was like, you guys are stepping out of the trailer and breathing fresh air occasionally, right? They're like, no, should we be doing that? I was like, yeah, you're probably breathing in ammonia and you're going to go unconscious from constantly inhaling ammonia. They're like, oh, yeah, that probably explains why we're lightheaded. I was like, yeah, you need to every like 5 minutes step out of that trailer and just breathe for a couple of minutes, just so like you get that ammonia out of your system. Like that's a thing that happened at work today. And guess what the management did? Nothing, because they don't care
Oh, they're
about safety.
breathing ammonia?
Ammonia
It's good
gas, yeah,
for your lungs.
yeah. Seriously, like it's ridiculous. Like
You'll build resistance.
No, you won't. You just won't. Not to ammonia.
For the love
Nah,
of
you
God,
got this, bro.
he is fucking with you.
It's ridiculous. So like that's the extent of like it's just one of the many things that like just go wrong at this job just because they don't give a shit, or like they have like I guess it's not really an issue, but there's a guy who started working there recently who he does not have his right eye, like, well, he has it, but like it was stabbed, so he can't see out of his right eye. But they have him like moving packages and whatnot, and like there are so many times where people will be in his blind spot, and it's like someone's going to hit him with something because they're not paying attention, and he can't see them because they're in his blind spot, you know?
God damn.
It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not saying don't hire disabled people. I'm just saying, like, you know, make sure people
Take
are consciously
precautions.
aware
Careful.
of situations like that.
Yeah, be careful.
Because, like, the disability checks he was telling me about it today. The disability checks he gets are less than what the paychecks of what FedEx pays him a week.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
It'd be
Yeah,
like
because
that
technically
sometimes.
he can still function as a normal person with the disability he has. So the disability here in the US, disability checks are dependent on
He gets
how
paid
disabled you
less.
are. No, no,
Wait,
FedEx
Mhm.
so
doesn't. No, no, no.
he
FedEx doesn't pay him less. The disability checks he gets for being
Being
disabled
disabled.
from that lack of sight, those paychecks are less than what
okay.
FedEx pays him per week.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, here in the
I mean,
US, your disability checks are dependent on how disabled you are. If
I
you can
I
feel
guess
like
function
I'm
like a
gonna cut
normal
off my
person,
arm.
if you function as a normal person, even with a disability, like you'll still get disability checks, but you'll get paid less than someone who cannot function like properly on their own. Like someone who's in a wheelchair will get paid more. Even though
mhm.
they can
What if
fully
I were
see, they
to
just can't walk, right? Like they'll get paid more
damn.
because they can't
What
do a
if I
lot of
were to
things on their
just
own.
yeah, what if I were to just cut off my arm? How much would I
Um,
get?
it would probably be something similar, right? Like if you could find a like if you could function like if it can be proven that you can function as a normal person, like even missing that arm, like you'll get paid disability, but you won't get paid as much again as someone in a wheelchair.
I mean, in your case, I
Damn.
think I think it would depend on which one. It would depend. Normally I think it would be like in the middle ground of wheelchair to blind in one eye. It would
No,
be in the middle ground of those two,
no, it wouldn't.
probably.
His pay would be closer to the person blind in one eye.
Well, yeah, but it's. I think it's like
It's no,
higher than that because.
no. If it is, it's barely any higher. Like it's not significantly more, like at all. A person in a wheelchair will get paid significantly more than someone missing an arm
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I
because a
feel like
person missing an arm
missing
can
an
work a
arm
normal job.
depends on the type of job.
Yeah, just like an average job, like a person with a disability, like missing an arm can work like an average job, right? Like there's certain things in that job that they may not be able to do, but there are things you can do working somewhere where you only need one arm, right? So it's
Mm,
like
yeah, I
the
don't know.
job I have, like it's possible, like at working for FedEx, it's possible to do some of the jobs there with only one arm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but it's more
You can't
difficult.
do any of it in a wheelchair.
Well, yeah, but it's still more difficult to do than if you had both arms.
Well, yeah, but because you only have one arm, right? That's why he would get disability checks. But for the most part, he could hold a normal job
Mm,
with just one arm.
maybe depends. The other thing to take into consideration is, did you lose your dominant arm or
No,
not?
that doesn't matter in the US
Uh,
because you
well,
can learn to use your other arm.
I mean, yeah, but
So it
yeah,
doesn't
I,
matter.
don't know, I guess.
Yeah, that's how fucked it is. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the actual eye, because I found this like cool as fuck video on Twitter like a couple days ago, where it was a guy that he had modified his prosthetic eye and he could like make a flashlight out of it.
hmm
It was fucking dope.
There's nothing illegal about it because it's your fucking eye, right? Like you can
Well,
do
yeah,
what
I'm
you
not
want.
saying it's fucking legal. I'd be appalled if it was legal, but I'm just saying like that's some cool you can do.
Yeah. Like this guy, he like when I first saw him today, is like I had never talked to him, and I was like, and when I finally started talking to him, like he was talking about how like people call him like Scallywag because he has an eye patch because his eye is so grotesque he has to wear an eye patch, otherwise it could be considered
Oh God,
disturbing to view.
I don't think
I
that's enough to
really
call
didn't want
someone a
to ask.
scallywag.
Like he
I
no
really
he
didn't want
he
to
thinks
ask
it's
whether he had
funny
an
when
eye
people
patch
do
or
that.
not.
He thinks it's funny
Yeah.
when people come up with like nicknames like that. Like another nickname
Well,
he has is One-Eyed Willie, stuff like that. And it's just
okay,
like
yeah,
he thought that stuff was funny.
that's more in line. I'm just saying, I don't think just missing one eye is enough to be called a
I
scallywag.
mean, a pirate, right? Because pirates are the eye patch, like.
Well, yeah, but there's more to being
Yeah, but
the
that's
stereotypical pirate than just a
anyway, right?
single
Like
missing eye.
when he was telling me about this, it's like to be honest, when I saw you, I thought of so many funny things to say, but I didn't want to because I don't know you. He's like, "Yeah, you're good, man. What you got?" And I just like started rattling off some stuff that may or may
Did,
not be considered offensive for YouTube, so I'm not gonna say them.
did, did you say
Right? Like I don't want to get eventually when I get monetized, I don't want to be demonetized because I said this like some
answer
weird
the
some
question? What
fuck
the
shit
fuck did
here,
you call
right?
them a psychopath?
You're
Why
getting
can I not
canceled.
speak?
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, but no, regarding safety, it actually brings me to another topic of like another thing safety is very significantly important for is gun ownership in the U.S. Because
Mhm.
I'm aware that the U.S. has completely different gun laws from the rest of the world, as I'll put it.
Mhm.
But like there was an incident again earlier this week where like someone was like threatening to harm somebody and possibly even kill them over some tiny fucking little problem. And I was like, if you want, I will come over there and I will beat the shit out of them for you. And they're like, no, because uh it was a couple. Like she's like the wife, she carries a gun in her purse, and the husband he conceals, and they have guns all over their house. And she's like, and I was like, listen, if someone tries to shoot at me and they don't kill me, I will get up and I will murder them. Because at that point, it'll be self defense to kill them because they had no problem, no qualms about pulling a gun out as self defense against an unarmed person.
Cool.
But, like, it's just, like, when it comes to gun ownership in the US, I am perfectly okay with people owning guns, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with how, the, like, if you follow the gun laws in the US, like, I don't think there's a problem. Like, there's not a problem with you, right? Like, you should never obviously resort to using a weapon, right? Like any kind of weapon, right? Whether it's a blade or a bat or a gun, right? Because the minute you pull out a weapon, you have you are showing intent to hurt somebody, right? Like you are
Yeah.
showing that you will hurt somebody.
I mean, the thing is, weapons can like, that's actually a definition. I don't remember where, but it is a definition of a
Yeah,
weapon can be classified as any object that is used with the intent to harm.
yeah, no, yeah, that's absolutely true.
So that it gets a bit skewed on whether or not you should use
Like
weapons when the definition of weapons is so wide. But the thing is, personally,
I'm
I
not saying
think that,
don't use weapons in self-defense. I'm
well, yeah,
saying you should not
obviously,
immediately resort to using one of the most violent weapons available in the country, right? A gun, right? Like a gun is way more violent than a bat or a knife. You want to know why? Because you don't have to be right next to them to hurt them,
hmm
right? So with a gun, you can hurt somebody right next to you, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 60
via
feet, 70
wireless
feet, 100
connection,
feet away,
baby.
right? Like with a bat, like if you see someone coming at you with a bat, guess what? You can just move away from them, right? Like you do not have to stay where you're at, right? Like someone has a gun, they can hurt you without you even knowing that they're there. Someone with a bat or a knife, you will see that person, and more than likely they're going to have that weapon out ready to hurt you.
hmm
So before you even get within striking distance, you can just avoid them entirely, right? That's why like I think I'm glad like there's like restrictions on guns like to the extent like felons cannot like if you have any sort of felony on your record, you cannot own a firearm.
hmm
Excluding black powder guns, you can own those.
for
because they're
whatever
considered
reason.
antique firearms, not um
Like a
Ah,
musket and a
yes.
yes,
flintlock.
yes,
Ah,
Own a
yes.
yes, on
musket
a
for home
musket for home
defense.
defense.
We're not getting into that joke. We're not getting into that.
It's
But
a
yes,
copy pasta.
technically yes. Even though you cannot legally own like a 9 millimeter pistol, you can own a flintlock. You can own a musket, as long as the weapon
Damn.
is fired using black powder and not like a bullet casing. You can legally own it and utilize it.
Disgusting 9 millimeter. Pull.
And
Can
I
I
would
just own a
argue
cannonball?
I would argue someone using a musket or a flintlock over like a modern day handgun or rifle.
Is infinitely more terrifying.
Yes, because they have decided you are worth the energy to prepare a shot in extent to kill you, right? Like that person is immediately like they are dead set on taking your ass down. Like the moment someone has decided that fuck you, I'm gonna set up my musket to shoot at you. If they fully set that shit up, you better hope they miss, right? Because one, that shit's gonna do some damage. Two,
I mean, I assume any type of firearm
they
would,
are committed.
unless it's
They
9
are
mil.
committed to harm. They are not going to waste that shot by hitting you in the leg. They are going for a kill shot.
Yeah. Like, I assume most types of firearms and ammunitions would inflict severe harm, except 9 millimeter.
No,
Fuck that caliber.
no. 9 mil will do way more damage than you think. No, it's not that all weapons will do a severe amount of damage. To be
Well, yeah,
honest with
obviously.
you, you could
Just saying,
survive a
also
50 cal round. Because
to
that
draw.
round is traveling so fast, if you are within a certain range, that bullet's going straight through you. It's not going to like expand or do a lot of internal damage. So if you get hit in the right spot with a 50 cal, you can walk away relatively undamaged. If anything, I would argue that 22s and shotguns are the worst, right?
Obviously, shotguns are pretty fucking bad.
Right?
Wrench rifle.
Well, I would argue that 22s, like one of the smallest calibers, are just as dangerous as a
I
shotgun
mean,
because
personally, I'm not even
they
familiar
don't
with
do
22s.
excessive damage on the outside of the body and through like going through your body like a shotgun would or rat shot out of a 50 cal for example. I'll talk about rat shot here a second. Fucking it's 50 cal but buckshot. It's so fucked. Anyway, so the reason I think 22 is more dangerous than like 9 mil or 45 or 44, 5.56, 7.62, all these calibers. The reason I think 22 is so damaging, right? 22 is not traveling fast enough after it enters the body to go through bone. So it will bounce off bones around your body
Hmm.
and just do a bunch of internal bouncing and damaging internal organs continuously.
Hmm.
Obviously shotguns because they can blow a hole in you the size of, well, a human head with
Yeah,
the right
and
load.
also, there if done from a certain distance, is just a bunch of smaller holes.
Yeah, I mean, the farther you are away from a shotgun, the better your chances are at survival. Um,
Obviously.
but there's a sweet spot where it doesn't matter because you will die at a certain range. I call it the sweet spot because at a certain range, that shotgun, the 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 ammunition has
That
enough
point
momentum
blank.
to do a lot of external damage, and continuing with that momentum into the body and dispersing that energy into the body, destroying even more. Like at a certain range, like it is 100% lethal. Too close, like you risk the round going completely through the person without doing a lot of internal damage, and too
I mean,
far, you don't
with
risk
this,
penetration. You risk no
the
penetration.
the thing is that when it's too close, the general group of like shotgun pellets would be big enough that the hole passing through would usually just automatically end someone, because if you hit any type of organ, making a hole that big will
No,
normally just end a person right
no,
then
no,
and
no.
there.
Incorrect. I say this because I have a buddy who in high school, He went around riding on four-wheelers and whatnot, like he would do that all the time. And he
Mhm.
was impaled by a tree branch, and it completely tore his liver in half. Um, Tree branches are bigger than shotgun holes, um, at close range. And after about 2, 3 months of being in the hospital, like within like the first day or two, he had his liver fixed. Like he has half a liver now. Like he doesn't have his full liver. He only has half a liver. But your liver will regrow, which is fucked. Like it's the only organ in your body that like regenerates really quickly.
Wait,
Um,
it does?
yes, yes,
And
it's ridiculous.
livers
Well, not
regrow.
I don't mean regenerate in the extent like regrowing an entire liver, right? Like, but if there's damage to your liver, if the
Holy
damage is then
shit.
stopped, it will repair itself very quickly.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? If we could apply that kind of
Fuck.
healing to an entire human body, imagine, right? We would all be Wolverine.
Damn. How much does half a liver
That's
sell for in
crazy.
the black market?
I'm gonna become a liver.
I'm gonna
Probably not the
become a
extent of
liver.
and it's not the extent of Wolverine, right? Like the healing's not that fast, but it's relatively quick compared to the rest of the
The
body.
mere fact that it's not about the speed, it's about how much can get regenerated.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like
Yeah,
that man can literally regenerate from a single drop of blood into his entire body.
yeah.
That
Wolverine only needs like, and same with Deadpool. They only need like a body limb, right? Just a single limb, right? Because if the head's
no,
completely
no, like
destroyed, it'll regrow from a limb.
no, like seriously, like there's been like a comic where Logan has regenerated
Yeah,
from a
he can
single
regrow
drop of
from a
blood.
he can regrow from blood. Deadpool can't. Deadpool has to have like some form of like body part, right? Which is why cutting Deadpool up into chunks is not effective. Blowing him up is not effective because there are body parts left, right? Like you would have to
A-
completely
As showcased by
turn
the
him
in
to
beginning of
ash.
the yeah, as showcased by the beginning of the second movie.
Yeah. You would have to completely turn Deadpool to ash in order to kill him, but he would stay dead. Whereas Wolverine, if there's even a drop of blood, he will absolutely regenerate from that, and it's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, yeah. Regarding guns though, like it's just like if like if you like, I won't own a weapon. I have my reasons. I won't own a gun. I should say I have my reasons. But if you're gonna own a gun, like I think like the farthest thing from your mind should be using that gun intentionally to harm somebody. Unless you have no other choice, right? Like you should never like first things first, grab the gun and put bullet holes in somebody, right?
Hmm.
Like because you can resolve a situation without a gun. Mm, I want to say 7 out of 10 times.
I mean, the funny thing is that yeah, sure, there's just choosing the diplomatic option, but also it's better for you economically speaking.
Well, no, because
So,
our country
like,
produces a
no,
lot of money through
no, but like
guns.
think about it this way, because I think it's with 35 caliber. If you're getting mugged and you have a gun that just shoots in 35s, you're better off just giving the guy your fucking wallet than mag dumping the guy. Like it
But
is
hold on.
a lot more economically efficient for you to simply give the man your wallet than to mag dump him.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like if someone's trying to rob you, right? If they're robbing you at gunpoint, just give them your shit, right? Like don't do anything that would make them want to pull that trigger or risk them pulling the trigger. Don't make any sudden moves. Just like if they're like, "Hey, give me your wallet, your phone, your keys, just and your jewelry," right? Just like, "Okay," and just slowly start taking off jewelry, pulling your phone out, your wallet out, your keys out, like, and just handing them to them, right? Because you will survive. Material items can be replaced, 100%.
Hmm.
Because
No,
guess
but
what?
like I
If
meant
someone steals
more
your
like
wallet, they can't use your credit cards if you then cancel those cards,
yeah,
right?
which does become a hassle if you don't have your phone, but
No, no, it
it's
doesn't.
doable.
You want to know why? Because banks. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously just walk to the bank, but I'm just saying you have to go all the way there. In any case, I meant more like you are getting like mugged. The guy has a knife or something, and you're the one with a gun, which like you're pulling it out for self-defense. You're better off just giving the guy your fucking
If you
wallet
pull
than
out a
nagging
gun
him.
on a person wielding a knife, you're part of the problem, right? Like, if someone's
Yeah,
mugging you with a knife, just give them your
yeah,
shit.
no, yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is it's better off for you, economically speaking, to give him your shit than to actually shoot him.
Hmm. Well, for you,
I'm over there pulling my gun out and starting to negotiate with the robber.
like the government
You
benefits from
don't.
you spending that ammo,
Yeah, exactly.
but you benefit from not wasting that ammo on someone with
Yeah,
a knife.
exactly. Exactly.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Legit. God, I am thirsty. I need some water.
Um, but yeah, what are your guys' you know, opinions on just like gun laws, I guess, or just guns in general
I
in
mean,
Europeans?
from what I know, a lot of countries just say if you own a gun, you can only own it for self-defense, and it is not to leave your house at all unless you have like specific qualifications for it. Like I don't know, you're someone that needs to carry a gun for his profession or whatnot. And I think that's at least one step that the U.S. can take that would that would help towards gun safety like
Yeah,
a
like
whole bunch.
for example, in Australia, this is something I learned from a friend of mine. Um, in Australia, the only people who can own guns are people with specific licenses, and the only people allowed to get those licenses are people that own farmland, and they can only get shotguns, and that's to deal with like infestive species. Like that's the restrictions Australia has on guns.
I mean, it's like a fair enough restriction, but it's very specific.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, like why else would you need a
It,
gun,
it
right? Like,
it makes sense. No, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying it's very specific.
well, if you think about it, there's a good reason for it.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
Because the mass shootings that they had, yeah, it makes sense that they have those restrictions.
That and they've also shown that they're not very competent with firearms themselves. Cough, cough, the emo war cough.
Okay, so no. So what you need to know, like I did research on this and I had I talked to a friend of mine. So the extent of the Emu War, um, it's not what people think, right? Like technically, yes, they did not defeat, like they did not kill off the emus, obviously, because they still exist. Um, but the reason for what happened was emus were an infested species, so they were telling people like, look, if you see one on your property, fucking kill it. Just put it down, right? Like because farmers' lands were being destroyed, the food production in fucking Australia was terrible because of the infestation of emus. They were just like tearing through farmers' crops and eating all their shit. So like they were serious. They were facing like if they did not kill off the emus or control the population of emus, they would have like ran out of food in a couple of years' time. So the initial thing was farmers united and they just like started going around and killing emus. But then like the population got so out of the emu population got so out of control because the farmers couldn't do enough that like the government decided to send in the military to deal with the infestation of emus, and they decided shortly after starting to stop only because like it was a waste
Oh,
of
actually,
military resources to be trying to deal with birds. So they just made it
huh.
to where farmers could legally own shotguns to
Hindi
deal
ko
with
alam
them.
saan siya per ato parentes.
Get.
Oi.
Mm, no.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I think he's talking to
okay.
someone.
Yeah, he should mute himself, but he doesn't.
He
That's
Yeah,
good.
really doesn't.
But yeah,
uh,
not. I don't know if you heard that, but that's the reason that
down.
the emus technically defeated the Australian military.
They were just better.
No, not at all.
I know. I kind of know the story behind that.
Yeah, like the military got involved only because like emus were like their population was growing so quickly, but then shortly after they're like, yeah, this is a waste of military resources. Just let the
Yeah.
farmers have shotguns. And so that's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
However, if you want to hear my thoughts on firearms, as someone who likes a good
I've never shot one.
bang, you know, and I think that like owning a firearm in itself is fine, and using it for self-defense is fine.
To an
But
extent,
what I
right?
think,
Like only
yeah,
in
to an
certain
extent,
situations, right?
obviously.
Like you like if
Yeah,
someone's punching you, don't pull out a gun and start shooting them, right?
yeah,
Like the
exactly,
fuck?
exactly. But the thing is, I think that the main issue is that uh, it's it's the ammunition, and let me tell you why. Instead of instead of like places like just public gun shops selling legit uh what do you call those bullets? Like normal ass bullets, you know?
What do you mean normalized bullets? Bullets for rifles, bullets for handguns, what?
Like any like bullets that actually pierce things. Normal bullets, or whatever material they're made out of.
You mean
Metal
FMGs?
bullets.
Lead.
No, just
Lead.
like actual bullets.
Yeah, lead bullets, but
Yeah,
the thing
lead
is,
bullets, that's the
actual
word.
bullets classify pretty much every type of ammunition.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like instead of that, unless they are like bullets that are specialized for hunting or yeah, just hunting, they should be sold in like rubber bullets, you
The
know?
thing is, right, even if you put that restriction on there, you're putting that restriction on citizens who have done absolutely nothing wrong, right? Because the people breaking the law do not give a shit. They will get lead bullets, right? They
I
will
mean,
get
the thing is, there's obviously gonna try to be a system to like see if are you actually using these for hunting or but like even
That's
for
easier
those who
said
aren't
than
using it,
done, though.
those who are following the rules, they're still gonna use it for self-defense. So they're gonna use rubber bullets.
yeah, but what's a rubber bullet gonna do, right? Like, what if
Yeah,
someone's
It's
wearing
that's the
gonna
body
thing.
armor?
stop if they're gonna dude, you're not gonna get robbed and the guy who's robbing you has full-on body
You
armor.
don't know that.
Okay, but that's like very rare though. You're probably gonna get mugged by some guy in a hoodie.
Yeah,
That's
I
below the
hate to
hoodie.
break it to you, but rubber bullets do not do anything to someone in a hoodie.
It-
I don't know if you've
If
been
you aim
it
at the
sounds
right
like you've never
spots,
been
I don't know.
if you've never been shot with rubber bullets, have you?
He hasn't been shot,
I don't think
period.
anyone.
I've been
Yeah.
shot with no, I've been shot with rubber bullets. If you're wearing a hoodie, and I mean like an actual hoodie, not like a fleece jacket, like an actual fucking hoodie, you will not feel it. And if you do, it's barely. Like it'll sting for like a second. You will be
Well,
unaffected mostly.
you're still mainly using it to like either just dump it down so you could slow the guy and run away, because you aren't just gonna shoot him with an actual bullet.
Well, at
Sure,
that point,
yeah,
why not just tell people to get
that
paintball
gets the
guns
trick.
instead then, right? Like
I mean, no,
Like,
paint. Does
I mean,
paintball have the same force of a rubber bullet? I don't know.
no, it
it,
has
it
more.
does. It has more
Yeah,
force and it's more
if
effective because then you see the
Yeah,
guy that's just like
it's
painted
compressed
all
air.
over
Yeah,
and you
it's
know
compressed air. It is um far more effective than a rubber bullet would ever be.
if
that, and
that's the
also
case,
you
then yeah, I
see
guess
the
that
guy
would be a
that's
good
like
idea.
covered in paint and you know he's like a mugger
Yeah,
or
but
some
then
shit.
you can't conceal and carry a paintball gun. You just can't. Hate to break it to you,
You
you
can't
cannot.
You
conceal it. Period.
Yeah.
you doubt my abilities.
You misunderstand the size of paintball guns.
You haven't seen the size of my inner pocket
I
in
hate to
my
break it to
jacket.
you, but paintball guns are the size of a human arm.
Not with that attitude.
Is that a paintball gun, or are you just happy to see me?
Exactly. Like you just right.
Listen,
Like at that point, like there's no point in doing that. Like the point, like I'm not
It's called
because if you think about
concealed
it, like
firearm.
if someone's attacking you with well again, you should not resort to pulling out a gun for self defense, right? Like I said, 7 out of 10 times, if not more than that, right? Like you can just avoid using a gun altogether, right? Like like my thing is like here in the U.S., right? Like I don't have a problem with people carrying around like concealed guns and whatnot or like rifles and whatnot. Like there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like it's your right to own those weapons, right? I don't have a
Plead
problem
the
with that
fifth and
because
whatnot. Or not the fifth, the second.
it's the
Yeah.
Second Amendment. It's the right to bear arms. It's the right to have munitions, right? Like technically anything the military has, U.S. citizens can have. So technically, the military has fighter jets. I could legally own a fighter jet as long as
Goddamn.
I can afford it.
Which thankfully you can't.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I had the money to, I could go out and buy a fighter jet if I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, thankfully you don't.
Nuclear weapons, for example, if I had the means of procuring them legally, I could own them legally.
That cracks me up every time.
That is the, like, that, well, no, it makes sense, right? Because, like, let's say that the U.S. military is turned on the U.S. citizens. The U.S. citizens should be able to defend themselves against a military force with high grade weapons, right? Like, otherwise, we risk turning into a dictatorship. We're close, but not close enough because um, we're close to becoming a dictatorship here in the U.S. But at the same time, there's only so much the government can do before the U.S. people could be like, no, you're done being in charge, and they can overthrow the government because that's another purpose of the Second Amendment.
Mhm.
Although at the same time, the U.S. military is obligated to defend the country against foreign and domestic threats. The U.S. government is a domestic threat. If it comes to it, the U.S. military is supposed to defend the U.S. citizens. Like that
And
is their
yet,
job. But the president can also order the U.S. military through executive orders because they are the ones that are technically in charge of it all. They can tell, like the president can tell, like the Marines, for example, because they are the chief uh, of it. I forget what it technically is, but they can be like executive order, forcefully remove weapons from citizens.
yeah, like that was
Technically, the
actually,
military has to, but
yeah,
technically,
kind
they're
of,
also obligated to protect the U.S. citizens against
yeah, like that was
that kind of
actually
threat.
something I managed to get touched upon on my lecture today at uni. Fucking the U.S.'s leadership. Uh,
It's shit, yeah.
Leadership model is what is considered a paternalistic. Like the government is considered a quote unquote father figure, and they know best, they control all, basically, even though it is considered a democratic leadership.
To an extent, actually, there are. So the thing is, right? To an extent, the government has power, but there are checks and balances in place to where um there are people that can literally tell the government to stop. And the government has to listen, otherwise they are removed from power or from positions of power. And they don't get a choice. They are removed from those positions of power if those checks and balances, the people responsible for keeping the government in check decide, no, you're out of you're no longer in charge. Like if those people decide that government officials are not good for being in charge, those government officials are no longer in charge. That's another good thing about the U.S. that didn't mention in the last podcast, but yeah. But that's a good thing, right? Like something that's annoying to me, like shorthand typing. It's obnoxious, right? Like anyone who like feels that they have to take a single word response and dumb it down to a single letter, like K or KK or OK, like something like that, like stop.
You're gonna do that to okay? I'd
Just
understand like the
just
others, but
stop.
oh,
Right? Like
okay. Listen,
you can respond with more than one word, right? Like you have a mind that can formulate sentences, right? Use a fucking sentence to respond, right? Like I don't care.
that's cool and all, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Anyway, I just that's something that bothers. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's just something that like I'm not gonna like force people to stop doing it because I can't. But like at the same time, like it is something that like I'm just like yeah, that's annoying, but I put up with it because again I can't force people to stop, right?
Yeah. Look at DMs.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
uh, what's wrong, bro?
But yeah, what about you, ass kick?
Personally don't really mind. Like sometimes it can be annoying because you're just saying something and they're giving like one note responses, and it's just a matter of, are you even fucking paying attention to me?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, am I not worth a sentence of response, right? Like, I'm only worth a single letter to you for a response. Like, what I said was important, but you don't feel like it is, which makes me think you don't care, right? Like I said, like you can't make people respond a specific way, but there's no one that says you can't be annoyed by it, right?
Mm, give me 1 second.
Yeah, when he gets back, we'll jump onto like kind of like a final topic that I mean he brought up beforehand before the podcast himself. Kind of wanted to talk about it because I thought it was interesting.
Mm.
So,
Yes,
are you back?
yes, I'm back.
Okay. So, on to the final topic. It was something you brought up before a podcast, Ace. The if you had all the resources needed to do whatever you wanted, what would be your dream, or like what would you want to accomplish? Feel free to
So,
answer.
who would like to start first?
We're not doing this in like this isn't group
Oh,
therapy, right? It's just do you have something like
I
you
mean,
brought up the idea, so I assumed you had something in mind, right?
I do have I do have the idea, but it's kind of cliche on my end.
Just go
Because
for it.
the thing about that is that if I were to have more resources than I currently have, which, if I'm being honest, I do have more resources than a lot of people can dream for, and that's thanks to my family. But if I
Mm-hmm.
had absolutely all the resources I could have, and they're all mine, and I could do whatever I like with them, I would still choose to be an animator because it is something that I love doing. It's something that I love, like both dream wise and profession wise. And if I were to have all of the money and all of the time, I would just do that.
You mean to tell me there's nothing
Nope.
that's
There's
far
app.
exceeds what you could do as an animator? That like
There is
if you had all the resources you absolutely needed to accomplish anything you wanted to, you would just be an animator, right? Like you wouldn't like I'm not saying like that's a bad thing, right? Like
You're making it sound like a bad thing, but I understand that you're not trying to.
yeah, but like I'm just saying like there's nothing like far greater than that you wouldn't like to
there
see be
is
achieved.
there is nothing greater than that in my mind. I have loved animation. I've loved art.
So you pick a
j-
selfish answer is what I'm hearing.
How dare you?
It is a selfish answer though, right? Like
I mean,
it
the
benefits
thing
you,
is, you
yes.
don't. Okay, but like, you don't.
Well,
You with me being good at it, you don't know if I could like want to make a studio or something, which I do. That is one of the things that I want to do. I want to
From what I'm
eventually,
saying.
if I get good enough, I want to make a studio and other people can work with me.
Yeah, okay.
It's it
That's not what I'm
it's
saying.
selfish. It's selfish in the way that I want to do this because I like doing it, but it's also selfless because of I want to do this because I want to show people like uh I want to show people the beauty of it, and I want to inspire people to do the same thing as I did. Because
Well,
honestly, although animation can look cool and all, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So your
I,
whole thing is it's not like you would do become an animator because it's what you want. You would do it to like try and like reach people and
I
do stuff
I'm
like
doing it for
provide
both.
something for people, right? Like
I'm doing it for
so,
both.
so
Like,
it's kind of selfish, yeah. Okay.
yeah.
What about you, Askick? What would you do if you had all the resources absolutely needed to accomplish anything that you want to do? What would be your dream?
a similar vein, but I wouldn't just limit myself to being able to better myself in my hobbies. I would primarily try to create a situation for myself where my income can be self-sufficient in the sense that my income generates itself, so that would be able to liberate a whole lot of time for me and would give me a lot more money to be able to
So you
do
would
the things that I want.
invest?
Yes, eventually.
Man, that's an
The point.
amazing dream.
You say
No,
hold
no,
on,
no,
wait,
no, no, no,
Ace.
no. Once I said that I'm doing a similar thing to him, but I'm also investing so
Yeah.
that
Okay,
I will be able
obviously
to do
everyone
a
is
lot
gonna
more.
invest in when you get the opportunity like
Okay.
that.
Hold on.
I'm
What do you
just
Right.
saying
when you
Here's
dream
guys
the thing. Here's the
hold on.
wise.
thing. Here's the
When you
thing.
guys
Here's the thing.
hear
Because I'm not finished.
resources, well, when you hear if you had all the resources needed to do whatever you wanted, like what do you hear? Like what do you think of when you think of resources? Do you only think of
I
money?
No, I
Also,
myself
time.
think like money, people to work with, time, not in the sense that oh, I'm gonna live forever, but in the sense like I'm no longer busy other than like what I'm going to do.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
creating.
That's fun.
I'm creating time for
What do you
being able
mean
to
that's
do what I
fun?
want.
Like your guys'
Those
answers, like
are
although they aren't entirely selfish, are partially selfish.
Well,
they're
you never
selfish.
let me
What do you
finish,
want to
so you
be?
can't even tell. You never let me finish, so you can't even
Okay.
fucking tell
No,
if
no, go ahead.
mine
Go
is
ahead and continue. I just want you to point that out. Just
right.
continue.
So I wanted to be able to do the things that I do, the hobbies that I want to follow, to be able to create shit that I can just, put. I can just put myself out into the world and create something for some type of audience. But I also want to be able to invest so that I can generally use my income and help other people to achieve either a better lifestyle or achieve their own types of dreams.
Okay. So,
Well,
So being able to
obviously
donate to
everyone.
charities, don't or invest
Okay, we're
in like invest to types of creative establishments, that types of shit.
okay. Obviously, everyone would invest to that lovey-dovey shit if they had infinite money. But we're talking like by by the prompt that I said, I meant it like if you had a dream and you could do that dream without any fallbacks, what dream would you do? Because obviously, if you had infinite money, you would just spend it
Well,
anywhere, not
well,
just
no,
for
because that
yourself,
because that
because
that
you'd
would
have
just
infinite money.
well, no, because that would just cause inflation, and now your money is fucking
Oh my
worthless.
god, shut up.
no, he's right. He's absolutely right.
Infinite is still infinite.
Yes, but at the
Yeah,
same time,
when it's
there's a
infinite,
limit.
it doesn't have value.
Once it's infinite, there is no value to it. It cannot be used for anything, right?
Yeah, but
Because no one will
you know
deem
what
it
I mean.
Monkey
valuable
have
enough to be worth it.
hold on,
You
hold on,
know
Eddie.
what I mean.
Monkey have many banana
Shut up.
not valuable. Monkey
Okay,
have
you guys want to
one
hear my
banana.
answer to this then?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Um, because I'm not a selfish asshole. I
Okay, yeah.
benefit from this, but it's not for me. It's for the sake
Yeah.
of the world, right? I would
Yeah, go
remove
on.
all military,
Oh my fucking
all
god.
military across the entire world. You want to know why? Because and remove the capabilities of creating military.
Peace.
Hold on, and remove the capabilities of making military advancements, because society should not be focusing on whoever has the bigger fucking stick. Society should be focusing on improving life, like improving the state of life, the value of life.
Egg,
Science technology should be advanced to the point like we could be
eggy,
so much more technologically advanced if we didn't spend all this money on military funding throughout the world. Like,
eggy.
yes, I
Well, that
get the
is,
US is the most, and they're the biggest problem, right? Because they want to be the guys with the bigger stick. You
and
don't
they
need to be
are
the guy with the bigger stick if no one's holding any fucking sticks, right? Right? Like if the
right.
entire like if
Yeah.
everyone in the world came together and advanced education, medical, and technology, we would be a far better off society or world or life, like existence, if like that's how it was done. That's what I would do.
Eggy, while that is a very
That's a
meaningful
cool
and
thing, but
beautiful, can I finish? While that is a meaningful, a very beautiful sentiment, it just isn't realistic, sadly, because it's not like that's something we can't do.
The question
It's
didn't say
something
to
we
be
don't want.
realistic, right?
it wasn't
The
a
thing,
topic of realistic.
Yeah. That's
the
what I
thing
would
is,
want to
it's not,
accomplish with if I
it's
had
not a
everything
matter.
I needed to do what I wanted to
It's
do.
not a.
That's what I want to
It's
do.
not it's not a matter of we can't do it. It's a matter of we don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if you delete military, there will still be aggression. There will still be violence in the world because humans inherently are very
No,
greedy
and
and
no,
selfish.
I get that, right? But instead of like, would you rather people be greedy and selfish and kind of violent with or
Obviously,
without nuclear weapons?
well, it does. Well, the thing is, it
No, no,
Would you
doesn't
no.
fight
really
Japan
No, no.
matter.
without
Which one? Which
nuclear
one? Which one?
weapons?
I've already talked about that in the last podcast. Like I said, the U.S. made two very expensive mistakes because both those atom bombs missed.
Yeah,
Well, that's on them
Yeah,
if they
exactly.
didn't miss.
Well, like the first one was supposed to hit Tokyo and it missed. So they dropped a
so
second
they
one.
tried
It
again,
also missed. So they're like, we should stop dropping these because this is destroying the very life in Japan. Um,
which it would have anyway. So you know.
if they had kept dropping them though, trying to hit Tokyo, eventually they would have hit Tokyo. But what else would there have been left of Japan anyway? Nothing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, but the thing is, why
Okay, but
why'd you
to
chicken out then?
to
But no, would you rather people be greedy and kind of violent with or without nukes, without
The
military weapons?
the problem isn't the military weapons. The problem is that people are gonna be greedy and violent regardless. And you know, when your means are minimalistic, you try and get creative, and you don't like seeing violent people get creative.
But if you think about it, like if people were to advance, like I'm not even saying everyone has to increase education, medical, and technology, right? Like let's say one country is doing like about a couple of countries are doing like educational increase, right? Like so they can offer further education for the entire world. Another country does medical, they can offer medical advancements for the rest of the world, technological advances for the rest of the world, right? Like everybody could be doing something to benefit everybody, right? But
Yeah,
instead,
I'm not
people are like, I
denying
want to
that.
be the guy with the bigger stick. Like, if I
I'm not
could, I
denying
would remove people's like desire for that.
that would be just generally being able to lobotomize pretty much all the fucking
It's
world.
possible, but I've already thought about this, and it's not the
It
appropriate way to go.
well, that would arguably
okay,
be the
Because
Eggy.
most
So
lobotomies are only
efficient.
90% like effective or
okay,
Yeah,
so
survivable.
hold on, Eggy.
still, the
So
point is that's the only effective way to be able to do it because you just
hold on.
can't remove
Hmm.
that part of people because people drive towards aggression
Yeah, but I'm
one way
saying
or
like if you
another
could
because
remove
of different
everybody's like
reasons.
desire to be the guy with the bigger stick and just together, like that's what I want to do. right? If I had the abilities to do that, like if I had the resources to do something like that, I would. I would not
So,
lobotomize people because
Well,
again, the survival rate's only 90%.
well, yeah, I
all
know
right.
that, but I'm just saying it's the most realistic way of
Yeah, but we're not
being able
saying
to do that.
realistic. We're not saying realistic. We're just like, if you had the means to do whatever you wanted, what would your dream be, right? My dream would to
Okay.
be
So,
to create actual world peace and advance human society.
all right. So you said it yourself, Eggy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought my shit was gonna be cliche. No, like I understand that you could want that, and that's fine.
It's a perfectly
When
fine
I
thing
had
to
when I
do
had a
if you
dream in
want
mind,
it.
I thought like, oh, what would you want to do for a profession that you would just keep doing it for fun? But
Well,
that is
no,
an
it's
interesting way to take a dream.
well, it's not a bad
It's
dream by any means. It's just very,
Stop saying it.
very arduous. Arduous, I was gonna
stop
say.
saying what?
I thought he was about to say realistic, unrealistic. I was gonna say stop saying fucking
No,
unrealistic because the goal is not to
no.
be realistic, right? Because I know that's not possible. I absolutely know that. If I could make it possible, though, I would.
Yeah,
Thing
Because
it's
is,
a
if I
very
could
out
make,
of all
arduous
of us here, I
process.
guarantee you, out of all of us here, I am probably the most pacifistic person here.
I was about to say cap, but then you said pacifist, and yeah, I agree.
what
I,
what do you think he was gonna say?
No, I thought you were gonna say like, out of all the ones here, I have the most potential or some shit.
no,
Yeah, I was
no.
gonna
I
say,
just I'm
motherfucker
probably
working
the
at.
biggest pacifist out of the three of us here currently,
Yeah,
and
I'm not doubting that.
which is why I wouldn't go with the lobotomy, right? Because that involves possibly killing like 10% of the world, right? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine, but it's like, how
Like,
else would you do it?
Uh,
here's the thing
that's the
is like,
thing, like, right? Like
you can't
we don't
you
know
can't take
because
you can't
medical
take
advancements have not been made in order to make that fucking possible, right? Technological advances have not been made, right? Like education itself could prove to be the answer to that.
Well,
Technology could be the answer. Medicine could be the answer. All three of them combined could be the answer. A mix of the three and
that's the thing
twos
that
could be the answer,
then
right?
it's
We
a
don't
bit
know.
paradoxical. Then it's a
the
bit
thing is
paradoxical because you
I love
currently
paradoxes, but at the same time, I
yeah
know this is not a realistic thing. I understand
yeah
that.
currently as
yeah I'm
of
just
now let me just say this, currently as of now you are right, like in this year, in this age, in this era, we can't really take the nature of humans.
Yeah.
For now, sure, maybe in the future it might happen. Who knows how? Who knows when? But currently, that is unrealistic. Although it's not about that.
you
If
can
that's your
change
dream, that's your dream, and
you
go
can
off,
to a
King.
certain you can to a certain degree change certain aspects of the nature of humans, but one, it's very
You can't change it
arduous.
entirely, though.
Well, it's you
Like taking
feasibly
away
speaking, you
violence,
could.
No,
taking away
lobotomizing
violence and
people
greed out of humans is a
lobotomizing people is a
lot.
problem because it removes their drive to do anything, right? So those medical advancements, those technological advancements, those educational advancements would never happen if you lobotomized everybody. Even if it was a 100% success rate,
The
it
thing is,
would
no,
not be beneficial to lobotomize people.
no, I'm saying you lobotomize the aggression more specifically,
You
because
can't target only aggression with a lobotomy, right? It removes.
A part of the
well,
brain. You
depends.
can't just go
Our modern
specifically
Yeah,
this part of the
in
brain hates. Take that out.
yeah, that's not how it works. Like
well,
the
that's
brain, the hate that comes from people is more than just like a simple singular part of the brain, right? Like
well,
it's developed through thoughts of people, overall opinions, which are two separate parts of the brain, as well as the part of the
still.
Emotion.
brain that is fear connected, right? Like you develop hatred through fear.
Well, then again, it's like you said, it's simply not fine tuned enough to the point where we probably could do that. But that's the thing. The thing is, even if we could, even if we were only slightly off of being able to do that, then it's a paradox because we need that type of thing to remove aggression. but then again, aggression is stopping the development, which would
Yeah,
reach
no, and I
that
get that. Yeah,
point.
it's still something I wish if I had the means to, it's something I would absolutely do. I know it's not realistic, as you keep saying.
Unfortunately,
I'm fully aware that's not realistic, but like it's something that, given the chance to do something like that, I would absolutely do it without a second thought.
Since you're going guns out with your dream, I like to uh I like to enlarge my
No, no,
dream.
you want to change from a selfish answer to a non-selfish answer.
It's
no,
not.
he wants
It
to
was never.
elaborate.
Shut up, dude.
Self-preservation.
Shut the fuck. No, you shut up. You don't know. You've met me for like a couple of weeks, dude.
You won't have that.
Hey, shut up. Listen,
I mean,
thing is
realistically,
like
his isn't even that selfish because he's putting out content for people to
it's
enjoy.
it's
Because it's
not
something
so
he wants to do.
it's
And
not so it's selfish that I want to do it, but it's not selfish in the sense that like I want people to enjoy this medium. I want art to be as important as science, but I want to do it in the way that I want to do it. And if that's selfish to you, that's selfish to you, man. But
It's
in my
partially
opinion,
selfish though, because
it's
part of you wants to do it for your own sake, but part of you
I
also
like to
wants to
I
do it
want
for
to
others,
no,
right?
it's kind of like an external thing cuz like I want to do this make to have other people enjoy it, but me enjoying it is also a side thing that I appreciate.
Well, that's not how you worded it before.
But I'm wording it like I'm trying
it
to
is
word it
something
like how I am right now.
you get enjoyment
That's
from
fair.
doing it, but not necessarily from what is being made. You enjoy that you're making something that other people can consume and also
I'm just
enjoy.
honestly nitpicking. I'm just teasing you, man. Don't worry. I know what you're getting at.
And,
Like, you
it's fair.
enjoy it,
It's fair enough.
but
It
at the
was
same time,
fucking around
you
with you
want to
earlier
do.
as well.
So the thing is you enjoy it, right? You would love to be able to keep doing it, and if that means it makes people's lives better, you that's what
All
you're
the
after,
better.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know that's what you mean. I was just fucking with you.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
I was just like, when you
man,
proposed this question, I thought you had some like grand thing, like I did,
Nah,
no,
bro.
which
dude,
is
I'm not
fine.
fucking. No, I'm not. I know my place in reality. I'm not fucking God.
You didn't say it had to be realistic though, right? Like that's you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, I know
specify
that.
that. So like I was like,
Even if it
okay,
was
what?
unrealistic, this is what I would have wanted.
Well, it's realistic,
That's
right? Like both of your
yeah,
guys' things are realistic and they're
yeah,
achievable technically.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine probably will never be achievable, right? Because everyone's got to be the guy with the bigger stick, and that's something I
Not
wouldn't want.
not at the time that you're alive, but it could happen. You never know.
It's
Not
very
likely.
far.
It's not
It,
likely.
Yeah,
it's
it's very far from here.
like ours are stuff that can be achieved within a lifetime
Yeah, exactly.
My dream is to become God and rewrite all of existence.
in my image.
In my image. First decree as God. Backflips.
Badass.
Backflips daily.
Backflips are mandate. Yep, daily.
You have to do 10 a
Every
day.
morning. Yep, unless you die by natural causes. Doesn't matter
Gravity does
how.
not
Just
count.
gravity does not count.
Gravity
It's
is a
not an
natural
excuse either.
cause.
Too bad. Not
No,
anymore.
gravity isn't an excuse either.
Okay,
Gravity is now fictional.
oh God, that's not how that works
Gravity
though.
isn't canon.
Okay, no. You want to talk like, okay, so regarding
Uncanon
gravity being
gravity.
fiction, like that joke you made about gravity being fictional. So there is something that I've thought about, and the science just does not work in favor of people that are like, um time travel. It's like time travel is not physically possible. Based on the laws of physics, time travel is not possible.
Yeah, the thing is going because that's actually something I've been thinking about. If you go back in time to like change an event, then you've created a paradox because now
No,
that event hasn't happened and you never had a reason to go back in time to
I'm not
change
even
it.
going
But
into
then
that extent. Like, there's a different way that I'm looking at it that, like, it doesn't even involve that, right? Like, so if you think about the universe, right? The universe is a technically a set amount of mass, right? Like,
Mhm.
some areas are more concentrated than others, but the entire universe is just a constant amount of mass,
Expands.
right? It's just the mass is spreading farther and farther apart. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, if you take mass from here, right, from current day, and remove it, you then create a black hole because that mass has been removed from existence.
Yep.
And then you're
I
then
have.
transporting that mass somewhere else in time where the mass is at its cap limit. If you think about it like a glass of water, you can empty a glass of water, but you cannot put more water in a glass of water that is filled to the brim because it
Or
will
it
not
will
fit in the
overflow.
glass. Yeah, it will not fit in the glass. So how is time travel physically possible? Based on the laws of physics, how is time travel possible? It's not.
Even if it was possible, think of it like this, because this is what I would think. Even if it was possible, here's what I would think. You'd go back in time to change an event, and it kind
That's what
of
I
be
said.
like for it would no no no. It would kind of be like 4D chess, you know?
Well, no. So there's a
You no no
theory
no
out there
you
about
go
time
back
travel.
you go back in let me say this. You go back in time to undo an event. Now, your current timeline hasn't changed. It's still the same, just that the point in time or the timeline or whatever that you have changed is now different.
Well, no, no. So I think Marvel has done a good job explaining it. If you think about it, like the way Marvel has put it, it makes a lot of sense. If time travel were possible, you going back in time, you are not you are in the past of the universe, but that past is now your future, right? That's the
Yep.
issue, right? Like you are no longer it is now a separate timeline,
Yep.
right? Because you're creating a different series of events, right? Because if everything were on the same timeline and you went back in time and you changed something,
You simply
the
wouldn't
point
be
of
able to.
time travel would change, right? Like
Yeah.
so
No,
therefore you couldn't have traveled back in time when you
n-
did to do what you
n-
did.
yeah, no. If it's a singular timeline thing, you simply can't go
Yeah,
back to
exactly.
change
So
something
I think
because
Marvel did a good
then
job with it, right?
you've removed the reason as to why you time travel. It's literally what I said.
Well, you
You've
could
removed
alter
the
it. You
reason.
could. It's possible. But at the same
You
time,
can
it wouldn't make
alter it.
sense to, like, if that were a possibility, that wouldn't make sense because there's a
Right, but here's
possibility
the
it
thing.
would or would not change the
Right, but
time
here's
in
the
which you
thing.
time travel.
If it's like a singular timeline thing, you go back to change something. Good, you changed it, but now that change has been made, and you never had a reason to time travel in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So now you
Exactly.
didn't go back in time, and it didn't get changed.
Yeah, see, that's why, you can't,
That's literally what I was saying.
yeah,
It's a paradox.
yeah. Which is why I say Marvel, I think, did a pretty good job with it. Like, you would create a separate timeline that is now your future, right? Like, a continuation of what you did without changing the past of your past, right?
Hmm.
If that make if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think all your 4 subscribers have seen Avengers Endgame.
Probably. Um, but even so, like that's not even
Shout out to the 4 subscribers.
Absolutely.
if they even watch this or listen to it. But yeah, we are an hour and 45 minutes in.
It'd be like that sometime.
Oh, we did spend like a half
Hey,
hour alone talking about anime, and then we came back
Yep.
to it a little
Bi-
bit later.
hey, Billy, the 3rd subscriber. Shout out to you,
I
man.
don't think there's a Billy subscribed. I don't think.
Damn it.
Yet.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, yet there might
Yet.
be one day. If there is, welcome, Billy. If there isn't,
Shout out to Billy.
this goes to no one.
Fuck you.
Yeah. If there isn't a Billy, I mean, it is what it is. But if there is a Billy, hey Billy, welcome to the podcast.
Wash your dishes.
Do your chores. Listen to your parents.
Do your chores.
If you don't
Unless
have
you're an older
parents,
person, then get up for work tomorrow. Start your day
yeah.
off
Do
good.
your do your
Breakfast in the
chores
morning.
anyway.
Yeah, make sure you eat right.
Practice animation for once.
You don't have to do animation, right? Like you may not be that great of an artist. Don't worry about doing animation, right? Just find something you enjoy. Live your life. Be happy, right?
Bungee jump. Cause why not?
Sure.
No. Don't bungee jump if you're terrified of that. Like, don't put yourself in that. Do not tell Billy to do stuff like this, right? Like, Billy may not want to do this stuff. Just
Billy's not a little
do it.
bitch.
Nay,
Billy ain't
let's
no
not talk about
pussy.
Billy like that, right? Like, Billy, if you are watching this or listening to this, live your life the way you want to live it. Don't let anyone tell you how to
You
do things or what to do, right? You do you, Billy.
Billy, kill Homelander.
No,
You
no,
got
no.
this.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know what he did to you.
You know what? This is where we're ending it. This is getting too ridiculous. So,
I can't wait to hear my voice.
oh god. Anyway, thank you
you've
all.
never heard yourself in a
Thanks for checking
recording?
out the podcast. Again, there will be another episode next week. Thank you,
Perhaps.
Asskick, for coming back out.
You know it,
Ace,
baby.
thanks for joining. You are, of course, welcome to
Yep.
come back next
Y-
week.
You might never see me again. It is
Yeah,
a mystery.
we'll see you again next week. Yeah.
Rob.
Thanks for stopping in,
You
everybody,
never
and
know.
have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.